Well, you see, that's the whole point, is the word lie needs to be defined. Sometimes not telling the truth, all of the truth, is your moral obligation. And you have a moral obligation to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth at all times to anyone who asks you. You would say, that's not in the Bible. The moral thing to do is for me not to tell you. You ain't getting nothing out of me. Those issues relating to whether you have a moral obligation to tell the whole truth at all times to everyone, that needs to be answered by pointing out you don't. You do not owe them the truth. And see, that's another fallacy. People run around thinking life is just, and they run around thinking you owe the truth to everyone. You don't. That's what the Bible teaches.
That was from Morey's available audio tape from the REF, catalog number J54.
If someone tells you ahead of time that they don't believe that it's wrong to lie, can you believe them for anything they say after that? If someone tells you they believe it's all right to lie if they get in a pinch, how can you believe them anyway? At any time.
I get in the mail this mail out here, which is 4 pages of letters that Dr. Morey mailed out.
The Executive Director of the Research and Education Foundation.
On the cover of the envelope it says REF Vindicated, and inside we've got this 2-page letter, REF Vindicated, and we have a letter from a man by the name of Humphrey Perez, who's one of Morey's friends, and he's making charges against you all. And then we have a letter from a man by the name of Slavitskas, and he's making charges against you all, and Morey's representing this man to be a CPA, Certified Public Accountant, and Mr. Perez is emphasizing here is he is a so-called trial consultant, whatever that is. In other words, he's trying to present some kind of an image here that you men have been tried and convicted of a crime here, and they call it embezzlement. And of course, none of that has ever been transacted out in the public institutions of crime, law enforcement, courts, or whatever. And all of this is a kind of a rigged up mail out to solicit money from people who would think that you and Gary had stolen a lot of the ministry funds. And in fact, Perez mentions y'all are holding $10,000 here of ministry funds. And this is a mail out sent to presumably the REF mailing list. And the idea is that you would read this and you would feel sympathetic toward this ministry, that these men were stealing and using the money, running away with the money, and so you'd be induced to send money to Morey and the REF because you criminals have looted the money and stolen and embezzled and all this, and it's been officially determined by a CPA and a man who calls himself a trial consultant. Now, in so many words, it's what we call a kangaroo court. In other words, they just set up their own little court and tried you men and passed judgment on you men, and whatever sentence they had, you know, they didn't have any power to do any sentencing. But anyway, the whole thing is just a fraudulent mail-out that was designed to induce supporters to think that you men had stolen the money of the ministry, and now these people are getting the letter, they're going to send you money. And so that came to mind.
Not send us money, but send more.
Yeah, send money to the REF. Well, this thing hit my box in like sometime in September. And of course, I didn't believe a word of it. I knew you men well enough, and I could see through the obvious, well, just the fraudulence of this kind of a thing, that this man in Pennsylvania and this so-called trial consultant could make these kind of determinations on y'all without even, I don't even know if they ask you a question about it or come in for any kind of a discussion about it to see if this was something they were misunderstanding or whatever. And I haven't heard any report from either one of y'all that you got invited to this kangaroo court for this kind of a determination. But at any rate, in doing all this, they have violated what I believe to be the law of the United States government, this nation, that protects people in their reputations. You know, you have a right to your reputation, and no one has a right to destroy that reputation in an illegal way. In other words, they don't have a right to use the mails, for example. The law forbids our using the mails in interstate transmitting of messages, letters, charges such as this, in order to destroy your reputation by accusing you of a crime of which you're not guilty. And this is what they have done. And I've marked up one of these letters, the various charges that they made. And here the word embezzlement is used by Morey. And then the letter from Mr. Slavitskas, he says that you were operating an unauthorized checking account, sometimes called a secret account. He says you diverted money, and even says the bank, someone in the bank was possibly helping you with this secret checking account. And then Mr. Perez, in his letter that was in here, he is a little bit sharper with his terms. He says that y'all are holding $10,000 of ministry funds and have refused to return that money. And it says you've misappropriated money, you've embezzled and looted money, and then he used the expression personal theft. Now, all of these things are charges that were made by the mails. They went through interstate transmission. And the Title 18 of the United States Code, which I have here in front of me, forbids this kind of use of transmission of charges of this sort in interstate transmission, and they've done that. I think they violated the law.
What does it say specifically?
Whoever with intent to extort from any person, firm, association, or corporation any money or other thing of value transmits in interstate or foreign commerce any communication. Now that would refer to letters like this that were mailed. It's interstate communication containing any threat to injure the property or reputation of the addressee or of another, or the reputation of a deceased person, or any threat to accuse the addressee or any other person of a crime, shall be fined not more than $600 or imprisoned not more than 2 years, or both. Now the last part of this refers to this particular thing about being guilty of a crime that would injure your reputation and hold you up to the reader of this particular communication as being a criminal. It specifically says you're accusing a person of a crime. Now that's been done. When you accuse someone of looting and stealing and embezzlement, that is a crime. And they have used communication to transmit this in interstate transmission. And so this particular law of Title 18, number 875, the United States Code, is designed to protect us as individuals against someone just destroying our reputation and accusing us of criminality when we are not guilty, when no charges have been made, when no indictments have been made, no law enforcement agency has ever even been brought into the picture here. And that's what Morey has done, that's what the REF organization has done when they mail this out across the United States.
In fact, Bob, it wasn't just a small mailing either. It was a large mail out on a bulk nonprofit corporation permit. It went out to virtually all the churches in this city that we're filming this in, Austin, Texas.